Welcome to Josh's podcast. Thank you for dropping in. This is the place where doctrine and life mingle. I hope you enjoy. Hey guys, good morning. I wanted to come on here and do a quick video about one of my last videos. It's time to fashion the whips and flip the tables. By the way, thank you so much for watching my videos, coming on here and engaging, giving thumbs up, giving thumbs down. Whatever you do, thank you for it. It does nothing but help me know what I need to improve or what I'm already doing well. It helps me understand what's helping people. So thanks for doing that. Thanks for engaging, and thanks for visiting the channel. If you haven't already, please click the subscribe button and ring the little bell so that you get continued notifications. And of course, if you like anything I say, give me a thumbs up. If you don't, give me a thumbs down and let me know why, and we'll engage in the comments section. So I did this video. It's time to fashion the whips and flip the tables. And the basic premise of the video was like that the Christian should be the best. The Christian should be the best. There is every excuse under the sun the Christian has to be the best. I mean, there's the worldly people who are outside of Christ don't have an excuse to be good. They don't have an excuse. They don't have reasons for why they should want to produce good content, for why they should want to be good or ethical lawyers, for why they should want to be honest politicians, for why they should want to be any of these things, right? But there are people out there who are outside of Christ that are doing who are doing better than people who are professing Christians, right? You can think of Hollywood and the movies that are produced there. It's great content as opposed to something like Pure Flix. It's all moralistic and legalistic content and then poor production value, really. And one of the things that I wanted to communicate in that previous video is that it's not a post-millennial, amillennial thing, right? It's not a premil thing. It's not an eschatological thing. I mean, there's eschatological implications to this way of thinking. But this is just a Christian thing. Like, we're not slothful, or we're not called to be slothful. We're called to do all things to the glory of God. The fact of the matter is that the worldly person is not called to do all things to the glory of God. Well, they are, but they're not able to, right? They're not able to. They're not able to because they don't have the Spirit living in them. But as Christians, we have the Spirit living in us. So we are, not only are we called to do all things to the glory of God, but we are enabled to do all things to the glory of God. We have every excuse in the book to do better than the world. And so my point in the last video was, if you are a Christian attorney, be better ethically, logically, rhetorically, etc., be better in all of those things than the worldly attorney. You have every excuse. This is your Father's creation. This is your Father's creation. You have every excuse to want to be better, to want to excel over against the world, to stand out in the darkness. You are salt and light here. There's no excuse for the Christian to be mediocre. Okay? And anyone who would contest that point, I would ask, since 1 Peter chapter 1 or 2 tells us that Jesus is our example, I would ask, was Jesus mediocre in his Father's workshop? And the obvious answer to that is absolutely not. Absolutely not. He was without sin. He couldn't have, what is mediocrity but laziness practically applied? That's what mediocrity is. And on that note, you have people out there who say, I'm not into all this doctrine and all this theology because I'm just a simple man. That's mediocrity. I'm not smart enough to get this. No, that's an excuse. The whole idea that you're born smart or not smart is a myth. You put in the work, you labor for it, you can know it. Okay? I'm a living testimony to that. By God's grace, I hated reading and I was bad at it. But God sent me in a different direction when he effectually called me into the faith. I'm not saying you have to be a reader to be a Christian, but, well, actually, you kind of do, because you need to read the Scriptures. If you don't read the Scriptures, you don't know God's will for your life. So this whole idea that, it's an eschatological thing, if I'm a one person, I think, assumed that I was a postmillennialist for saying what I did in the previous video. I'm not a postmillennialist. But I still believe that the Christian is to take their sphere of influence and make it excellent. They're to do good where they are. That is an extremely biblical principle. Do all things to the glory of God. Whether or not you're a mechanic, whether or not you're an attorney, whether or not you're a banker, whether or not you're a doctor, whether or not you're a librarian, a cook, a chef, whether or not you work in a factory, whether or not you plow fields. Do it all to the glory of God. Which means do good there. Be the best. You have two people who are plowing a field. One's a believer, one's not. The believer has every excuse to put all of his energy forth to plow that field better than the unbeliever, because the believer is plowing the field to the glory of his heavenly Father. There's nothing postmillennial about that. That's just Christianity. So it doesn't matter where you fall on the eschatological spectrum. That's a Christian dictum that you're responsible to uphold as a Christian. You have the creation mandate, right? You have the dominion mandate in creation, which doesn't go away with Adam's fall, and it doesn't go with a new covenant. It's still there. It's a creation ordinance. Take dominion of the world. After Adam was put outside the garden, he was put outside the garden to plow. We see in Genesis 3 that Adam was put outside the garden to plow the ground. And so this kind of work principle doesn't end. And we're to do our work to the glory of God. So wherever you are, whatever your sphere is, build it, make it great, cultivate it, do awesome things to the glory of God, according to the Scriptures. Anyways, guys, if this was helpful to you, please click the subscribe button, and the thumbs up would be appreciated as well. God bless you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day.